Hello, everyone, and welcome to the premiere of the Just Bernard Show TV here on the Global Illumination Council YouTube channel. Today we are going to be covering the recent march on Monsanto, as well as having a discussion on the goddess, and ending today's show with a really nice meditation. So stick around for that. But first, let's welcome our new segment, Activist News. And that was the scene here in Roanoke, Virginia. I was lucky enough to participate in last week's march here, where I believe it was over 150 people showed up. But not only here did we have marches, there were marches around the world in, I believe it was 52 countries, 436 cities, and an estimated 2 million people showing their unhappiness for the corporation Monsanto. The reason behind the march was the fact that Monsanto is creating genetically modified seeds that have the pesticides within them and are beginning to show some health problems in laboratory tests. That's one of many reasons why Monsanto is so disliked by so many people around the world. Starting in the 70s, they were the ones who created Agent Orange with Dow Chemical for the U.S. military. They are responsible for the chemical pesticide Roundup, which is showing a lot of negative adverse effects now. As well, they have been known and were exposed by Jeremy Scahill just several years ago to have hired Blackwater to protect their interests in third world countries. If you would like to learn more about Monsanto or want to keep up with the latest, you can always go to the GIC.org and do a website search with the names Monsanto or GMO. We will always keep you up to date on this as much as we can. But I would suggest you do the research and figure out for yourself what is wrong with this company and why it is so important that we do our best to take away their power, not only over life itself, not only over seed, not only over the genetic manipulation of our food, but the fact that they have just created so much damage to the planet already and are trying to get more and more control. With that being said, we're going to turn over now to our segment called Meta Talk, and we're going to be discussing the goddess. Welcome to our Meta Talk segment today on the Just Bernard Show. The Meta Talk segment is intended to be a casual discussion on metaphysical and philosophical spiritual topics, and today I wanted to talk to you about the goddess. We have been speaking about her the last couple weeks on the radio show, and it's by no coincidence that the topic itself has come to the forefront of many of the spiritual activist communities and media. And my feeling for this is the reason why we seem to be talking about it more and more lately is the fact that for a couple thousand years now, the world has been very masculine oriented. If we talk about the characteristics of the masculine, and this is not about sex, this is about characteristics. The male energies are much more assertive, much more aggressive. You see around the planet, especially now, the defeminizing of women. We look at the women that are in power, and I understand that this is necessary to beat a man at his own game. But we're seeing so much of the defeminization of not only of women, but of the planet itself, of the behavior that we have with one another. So let's talk a little bit about what the concept is of the goddess. For me, I'm going to just share with you what it is for me. For me, we are all connected to the source, the creator, creatrix, whatever terminology you wish to use. But that level of connection is a singularity. It is the one. It is the everything. And when we incarnate on this particular plane of consciousness, a polarity happens, a shift happens, and the one is divided into the two. You can see many examples of this in images like the Tree of Life. So polarity is created. It is necessary in order for us to experience the experience of being human. As well, so we have the positive, we have the negative, we have the male, we have the female, and within those aspects are positive and negative as well. Before I go any further, let's talk a little bit about what gods and goddesses are, because there are many different definitions on many different levels. And unfortunately, this is going to be kind of brief today, so I'm only going to do an overview. However, for me and my experience, there are many gods and many goddesses. Now, what are they? Who are they? Quite honestly, I believe there is a very expanded definition for this, because in some cases, it's very fair to say that some of the ancient gods were possibly extraterrestrials, were possibly down here, exuding their power and controlling people to do their bidding, as we see in much of the old mythological tales as well as biblical tales. So the reality of it is, could they have been extraterrestrials that visited the planet? On another aspect, on a more universal level, I see them as well as frequencies or vibrational energy that comes from source, that comes from creator. And when, as a human being wanting to connect with that etheric or universal consciousness aspect or vibration, we as human beings developed a way to connect with that psychologically. And we created the anthropomorphized version of these beings. We could call something love or passionate love. So in order to more connect with that, many civilizations may have created gods and goddesses of love and given it a face and personalities and a backstory and whatnot. But whether they are extraterrestrial, whether they are human concepts, archetypes, as Carl Jung talks about, whether they are that or not, the reality of it is that we have defeminized the planet. We have defeminized our culture, and with that comes certain downfalls. The reality of it is we are a very male-oriented society. Most of our leaders are male. The male aspects and attributes that come along with that and I'm not saying all male aspects are negative, but unfortunately greed and war seem to be at the top of the list these days. And with the planet being in such a state of chaos, we have to bring back the feminine in order to bring balance. There's a debate in the spiritual communities over worshiping or over exemplifying the goddess over the god. A lot of men are getting affected or offended that many people are just focusing solely on the goddess right now. And I'm probably going to piss some people off and say the reality of it is we need to elevate the goddess. So yes, right now, my attention is on elevating the divine feminine energies on this planet. My intention is to elevate her back at least to a place of equality rather than oppression or submission. Most of the goddess cultures in the past were very gregarian, excuse me if I said that wrong, but the idea that being inclusive, being exclusive was very much a part of that. So I feel that as we elevate the divine feminine in our culture, and as we elevate the divine feminine in our consciousness, and how do we do that? Well, it's very obvious that the number one would be nature. You know, let us focus on nature. Let us focus on aligning our awareness with nature and nature's needs. You know, we just recently had Darwin Sherwood on our radio show, and he talked about the Mother Gaia, the Mother Earth, the mother of living things here on the planet is the creative force, the creative life energy. So no matter your religious belief, most religions will have a female counterpart or somewhere hidden in there. There'll be some talk of a feminine divine or something, or a character. So this doesn't mean leaving your religious belief, but it does mean bringing in and incorporating that divine feminine aspect to whatever your religious belief is. If you are not religious, if you do not believe in spirituality, if you're an atheist or agnostic or whatnot, look at it as the energy, the vibration, the attributes of our culture, the attributes of ourselves, of our psychology, and of our consciousness, and the need that we have as a culture and as individuals to bring balance back to that. We have gone way too much to one side for way too long, and now it's very, very important for us to begin elevating this concept of the divine feminine or the divine goddess. For me personally, to end on this note, I'll share with you a little bit what the goddess is to me. My personal belief is the divine mother. That's the way I see it. I see it as divine mother of life. I see it beyond the earth. I see it as a universal consciousness. She is the one who gives birth to all things. She is the one who gives birth to consciousness, the one who gives birth to the planets, the stars, the cosmic mother of all. And for me, by aligning with that, not only does it give me a sense of peace and gives me something to contemplate or pray to or meditate on, it gives me a greater clarity and a greater understanding, even if I am only creating an archetype. It is very helpful for us to be able to utilize this, for me to utilize this in having a greater awareness and a greater understanding. For me, it creates compassion, it creates empathy. It allows me to trust my intuition, because that is a very feminine attribute. It allows me to align with my psychic ability. Oh, bad word. People don't want to talk about psychic. Well, you know what? We all have those senses that are beyond the five. And by utilizing and having a relationship with the divine feminine or the goddess, we begin to have a relationship and begin to allow ourselves to develop those sensories that are beyond the five. So what I would suggest is, figure out a way that you could bring the goddess into your life, no matter, again, whether it be religious, spiritual, or even just through your normal waking consciousness. And let's learn to elevate those wonderful aspects of our universe: birth, life, creation, compassion, and empathy. And now we are going to go over to our new segment, the meditation moment. Welcome to our meditation moment. Today we've covered Monsanto, and we've spoken about the goddess, so I figured the most positive thing we could do at this moment is to do a nice meditation and intention around those subjects. So what I'd like you to do, if you could, is to take a few deep breaths. Close your eyes if you must. And let us feel the Great Mother. Just sense your mother's love. Sense the love that you have for your children if you are a mother. Sense the love that the planet has for you. Sense the love that the cosmic mother has for all life. And let us take a few deep breaths, allowing that love to move through our bodies, allowing that motherly love to move through our legs, our stomach, our arms, our heart, our head. And now, in that state and awareness of a mother's love or of motherly love, let us objectively look at our planet. Let us objectively look at the destruction that companies like Monsanto and others have been and are continuing to do, changing what nature has created, harming the waters, polluting the air, poisoning our brothers and sisters with chemicals. And let us send our love to the planet. Let us send our love to our brothers and sisters. That healing touch, that healing motherly caress that fixes everything. Let us see the planet begin to heal itself. Let us see our brothers and sisters who have been poisoned begin to heal from within. Let us begin to see the waters cleaning and filtering out the chemicals. Let us see the seeds rejecting the genetic manipulation and their DNA returning to its natural form. Let us see the bees returning and resisting the chemicals. Let us see all insects begin to pollinate and spread love and life around the planet through the nature, through the seed, encouraging life, encouraging creation. Let us take a deep breath. And holding this vision of a planet healing, of a company like Monsanto weakening and the poison and the effects of what they've done weakening, seeing the planet growing healthier, seeing our human family growing healthier, seeing the waters, the air, the trees, and the soil growing healthier, stronger, and aligning with this life and this light of motherly love. Let us release this image into the universe, and as we will it, so mote it be. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I hope that you will subscribe to our channel here, so you'll be the first to know when we upload the Just Bernard Show TV. And remember to share this series with your friends. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look back to seeing you again next week. Thank you so much, everyone. I love you very, very much. Bye-bye.